Hey everybody, today I had a great opportunity to sit down here with a bunch of CellMates. We talked about transitioning veterans. We talked about clients needing help like that. We talked about our 2024 strategic goals for Fusion Cell. This is how we're gonna win this year. Take a look. All right, Matt Morrissey, co-founder and COO of Fusion Cell.
Yep.
Matt, you've been in staffing for how long now?
About quarter century, 25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Very briefly, give us a quick outlook on those 25 years and things that you have done.
Sure. So I think for many folks that are in staffing, no one goes to school to get into staffing. No one usually grows up and says, I want to be in staffing. It's a profession that kind of chooses you. You don't choose it. I landed in it as a young 20-something-year-old in tech staffing in the 90s and made my way through the dot-com boom, and then ended up in medical staffing, putting doctors to work for about 15 years. Started in the basement of someone's house, and we grew it into a pretty big national firm, and that became the springboard for Fusion Cell. So the last 5 years, we've been trying to take all the lessons learned from working across the industry for a long time and apply it to a different application, which is helping kind of bridge the gap between civilian needs and company needs and what the military can do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just like you said, it's been 5 years.
5 years tomorrow.
I personally cannot believe that I've been retired for 5.5, almost 6 years, and we've been working together for 5 years. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So today and yesterday, we met up here for our summit.
Sure.
We were kind of discussing our 2024 strategic goals. We are really honing in on our 3 verticals, which are construction division, manufacturing, government services.
Sure.
Give us a quick outlook on what, in your opinion, 2024 is going to look like for us.
Yeah, we're bullish. We're bullish for sure. We've spent the first 5 years building a pretty solid foundation, I think, for being able to leverage things we've learned about the veteran marketplace, how to maneuver within it, how to capture and capitalize on some of the talents that are embedded within the structure of the DoD, and bringing them into the industries that are best going to capitalize. And those 3 that you mentioned, construction, government contracting, and manufacturing, for sure, there are some big trends in the market that are creating very big talent gaps. And just naturally, the DoD produces lots and lots of talent that fit very nicely into those. The whole move towards electrification, the whole move towards the way that AI is exploding, and the requirements that it leads to in data centers, and the building of all these components that are needed to fuel that as well. Just huge needs that cannot be sustained right now by the workforce that we have. But the military produces lots and lots of folks with that sort of skill set. So it's natural. And then, maybe the biggest consumer in the world is the US government, specifically the DoD. And we have so many projects that are just so solely understaffed right now. So a lot of natural fits, and we're poised to be able to capitalize on that and really help out those markets.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to look at all the market analysis, the data, the trends that we have done to pick those specific verticals and now go and run after them, right? How exciting, in your opinion, it is for these 3 verticals to be the ones that we've targeted for the military community, for them to know that, hey, this is where there is a company out there like ours that we are spending tons of money. We are investing, capital resources to develop a pathway for them once the time comes for them to leave the military.
Yeah, I mean, to the veteran, I would say, take advantage of everything that the military has to offer while you're in there, because there's a lot. There's a ton of programs that are just part of the experience that you can take advantage of when you're in the military. There are some very large emerging markets that are going to absorb and are needing this sort of skill set when they get out. Anything with the word electric around it, right? The leadership that's needed, especially in manufacturing divisions. Folks that are getting out with clearances, those get eaten up quickly with some of the projects, both CONUS and ACONUS. So 2.5 or so million of these veterans that are out there in the job market, some that are transitioning, some that are out there already. These markets that we're focused on, they need these folks badly.
I agree. All right, let me pivot for a second, and I got to ask you a question from a little bit of a different spectrum. So, 5 years of building Fusion Cell. I will say on behalf of all the veterans in our organization, thank you for taking a chance on us.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if there's another company out there that said, you know what, I'm going to hire a bunch of veterans, bunch of military professionals that maybe don't have a lot of corporate experience, but you're going to guide them and mold them, and we're going to create something great out of it.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, give us a little bit of an outlook, maybe some of your experiences. How has it been working with us?
Sure.
And majority of us came out of recruiting, that's another side of the story. But I'm interested to hear, what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, it wasn't the original playbook, really. It wasn't the plan. The companies I had been part of, there was a certain formula and a certain profile that we would target, and it wasn't veterans per se. But then I hired one. I hired you, and then I think you talked me into hiring another. And what became apparent pretty quickly was especially veteran recruiters. The foundation that they get in the military as recruiters is very, very similar and transferable to what I had experience with in the commercial market. But the other benefits of working with veterans, I actually started to kind of walk the walk, right? If we're going to be telling these companies that they should invest in veterans and what a value they can be to the company, what better way to put my money where my mouth was to start bringing in veterans. So it wasn't the plan, but we're at probably 80%, 85% of our workforce now is veterans. I'll write a book about it someday because it comes with challenges for sure. There are some unique circumstances and situations when you're dealing with folks, in some cases, 2 decades into a career, yet still some of the same lessons that they have to learn coming out as if they were 2 decades back. But the values make it a lot easier. And the foundational competencies they come out with, it's a great asset. Lifelong learners, don't have to worry about attitude, don't have to worry about work ethic, don't have to worry in the most cases about moral fiber, all those sort of things. And the military, a lot of folks in the civilian world, I certainly didn't recognize it myself. Not only is there such a commitment to training and getting better and moving up. I mean, it's the fabric and the foundation of being a veteran, but the think on the feet, right?
Would you say that's a number one advice to companies that have not thought about this yet, like they have not tapped into this type of a market? What would be that number one advice for them? People
a lot
that
of them
have not hired military professionals.
There's a lot of misconceptions about, they take orders well. I mean, that's really not, I think, a fair assessment at all.
Okay.
And what I've seen is that they across the board, you throw a curveball at them and they just move and produce and move on, right? So the first thing I'd say is just do it, right? You'll the benefits that you'll gain, I think, are just incredible in a lot of ways. You just need to do it.